Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Okay, so today we are going to be studying Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 10, 10th canto, chapter 54, verses 18 through...
No, Brajananda Prabhu. It's 27 through 34.
Really?
Yeah, Canto 10, chapter 54, verses 27
you're right,
through
27
34.
through 34. Okay, you're right. I'm looking at it again. I think I saw the day before. Okay, perfect. Okay, 27 through 34. Let's see. On verse, there's like, nope. Okay, verse 34 has a purport. So we'll just read the other ones. And then when we get to the final one, we'll do the Sanskrit and everything. Okay. The Lord struck Rukmi's 4 horses with 8 arrows, his chariot driver with 2, and the chariot flag with 3. Rukmi grabbed another bow and struck Lord Krishna with 5 arrows. Although hit by these many arrows, Lord Achyuta again broke Rukmi's bow. Rukmi picked up yet another bow, but the infallible Lord broke that one to pieces as well. Iron bludgeon, 3-pointed spear, sword, and shield, pike, javelin, whatever weapon Rukmi picked up, Lord Hari smashed it to bits. Then Rukmi leaped down from his chariot and, sword in hand, rushed furiously towards Krishna to kill him like a bird flying into the wind. As Rukmi attacked him, the Lord shot arrows that broke Rukmi's sword and shield into small pieces. Krishna then took up his own sharp sword and prepared to kill Rukmi. Seeing Lord Krishna ready to kill her brother, saintly Rukmini was filled with alarm. She fell at her husband's feet and piteously spoke as follows. Rukmini said, "O conqueror of all mystic power, immeasurable one, Lord of lords, master of the universe, all auspicious and mighty armed one, please do not kill my brother." And then Sri Sukadev Goswami said, "Sri Suka Uvacha Taya Parit Trasha Taya Parit excuse me. Sri Suka Uvacha Taya Paritrasha Vikampitangaya Sucha Vashushyan Mukha Rudha Kantaya Katarya Vishramsita Hema Malaya Grihe Tapada Karuna Nuvartata. Translation is, Shukadev Goswami said, Rukmini's utter fear caused her limbs to tremble and her mouth to dry up, while her throat choked up out of sorrow and her agitation. And in her agitation, her golden necklace scattered. She grasped Krishna's feet, and the Lord feeling compassion. She grasped Krishna's feet, and the Lord, feeling compassionate, desisted. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes, the worldly rule, the quote-unquote worldly rule, that one sister is the personification of mercy, Dayaya, Bhagini Murtihi, even though Rukmini was wicked and was opposed to his sister's best interest, Rukmini was compassionate towards him, and the Lord shared her compassion. So in this chapter, we are hearing about Lord Krishna marrying Rukmini. As you've heard over the past few classes, Lord Krishna came to capture Rukmini. She was to marry Shishupal, who is basically a lifelong enemy of Krishna. He came to Rukmini wrote him a letter, and she knew that she wanted to marry Krishna, and she sent a Brahmana to bring this message to Krishna so that Krishna would come and save her. And it was the ultimate love note, so to speak, that please come save me, sweep me off my feet, and take me with you, right? So building up to that day, Rukmini was getting a little concerned because, like, okay, well, here we are. I'm about to marry Shishupal. Where's Krishna? And so she's waiting. She doesn't know if Krishna's going to come or not. She's praying and hoping that Krishna will come. And it's almost like the last moment. And she starts to feel curious, like, is Krishna really going to come? She's worried because she really does not want to marry Shishupal at all. And then Krishna comes to capture her on a chariot, and he swoops in and picks her up and takes her away, and everybody is almost like astounded, and they start to come after Krishna, and Krishna's army fends off Rukmi and his army, and Rukmini, you can only imagine how she feels. She's being swept away by her Lord Krishna, and then Rukmi is upset because he hates Krishna, and he wanted his friend Shishupal to marry Rukmini, so he's coming after her. And then we hear here that they have this kind of like final battle where it's just them two, and Rukmi is trying to kill Krishna with all of his weapons. He has, as we heard, he has bludgeons, he has spheres, he has arrows, sword. He has a sword. He's trying to come after and kill Krishna, and we can see like how inimical he is towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Practically as wicked as they could get, and he comes after Krishna, and Krishna is going to kill him, but Rukmini pleads with Krishna, please don't kill my brother. And even though Rukmini is the worst, trying to kill Krishna, Rukmini still has compassion for him because she's his that's Rukmini's her brother. So Krishna listens to Rukmini, and he spares Rukmini's life. And we haven't gotten to the next part yet. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but this is the point here that's in this purport is that one sister is the personification of mercy. So even though Rukmini was horrible, he wanted her to marry the worst person, and he was opposed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, tried to kill him. She still had compassion towards him because she is this personification of mercy for her brother. And because she is very special to Lord Krishna, she loves Lord Krishna with all her heart. She prayed to Krishna to be her husband. And Krishna, being who he is controlled by his devotees. So how could Krishna say no? Even though Rukmini was trying to kill him in many ways and is the worst person, Krishna listens to his devotees. And it's a good point. Actually, we see this through all the scripture, that Krishna, even in situations that most of us would find impossible to determine what to do through, Krishna actually listens to his devotees. He is controlled by his pure devotees, like Rukmini. She's not an ordinary devotee. She is pure devotee of Krishna. He's indebted to her love and devotion. And as we read in the scripture, this is the highest level, where you are not just she's not like a sadhana bhakta, trying to figure out what to do in this material life and get things clear in our heads. She's fully surrendered to Krishna, experiencing him at every moment. And Krishna, and because of that, Krishna is controlled by her. This is the highest level. And this is also simultaneously part of his Leela, so that we can read about this and hear about Krishna and his character and his devotees and their character. This is a very important thing. When we read these things, it's supposed to change our heart. It's not just for us to intellectually understand and just talk about just because it's a story. It's not like a movie or a novel where we just watch it or listen to it, and we might get something out of it and we discuss it with our friends and whatever, we have some intellectual discussion. This is actually supposed to change our existence. This is supposed to change our heart. This is supposed to create a revolution within ourselves, so that we can become greater devotees of Krishna, in a sense where we become purified, and that we can root out our anarthas, so that we can have a clean heart, like a mirror that it's like a mirror that has been like a mirror that has been neglected for. If you've ever been to an old house, I'm a realtor, so like go into a house and sometimes they're pretty, they haven't been cleaned in a while, and you see a mirror and you can't see your reflection in the mirror because no one's cleaned the mirror. And so this process of chanting Hare Krishna and hearing about Krishna and his devotees, we're actually cleaning that mirror, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, so we can actually see ourselves, see the Lord, see others as pure souls, part and parcel of Krishna, and that we're a servant of the Lord, and not of our senses, and not of any other master other than Krishna and the devotees. This is what this story and these stories, that these pastimes, these leelas that we hear in the Bhagavatam, are supposed to help us cleanse that mirror, so that we can feel connected to Krishna. We are connected to Krishna, but we don't, in the material condition, we don't experience that on our end. And so Lord Chaitanya has come and made all of this available to us in a very simple way, just so we can do just that. It's a very, very simple process. It's not hard at all. Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada taught a very simple method. He said, just chant Hare Krishna, and feel that Krishna is with you at every moment in your heart, and he's always your friend. Krishna's there through everything in life. We may go through life and have many different friends and have relationships that come and go, even very close ones. But Krishna is the one that's always there. He's always right with us, actually, at every moment. And it's us who have the issue. Like we hear, I think it's a story from the Upanishads, but it's spoken about in Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, where there's two birds in a tree, and one is the Supreme Sri Krishna, and the other one is the living entity, and the living entity is flying around the tree, eating, gobbling up all the fruits of the tree, enjoying the fruits, and Krishna is the other parrot just sitting there on the branch, waiting for us to finish up, waiting for us to finish up and sit next to him and be with him and converse with him. So we have been the other bird for so many lifetimes, just eating the fruit, some sour fruits, some sweet fruits, some in between. We experience this every day, every moment in the material world. And someday we decide, well, there must be more to this existence than eating these fruits. And then we seek out who we are. And I think all of us are here because at some point in our life, we came to the conclusion that there's more to life than just waking up, working or going to school, eating and doing whatever, making money and having relationships in whatever varieties throughout the day, and then eating some more and then sleeping and doing it all over again. There's more to life than just this redundancy of what's expected of us in the material world, or what we think is expected of us in the material world. There has to be more than this. There has to be more than just, get a good job and, have a family, and that's it. That's just what we're meant to do, is reproduce, right? That's the scientific, our biological purpose is to survive and reproduce. There has to be more, right? So those who have had that conclusion are here because they thought there must be more, and then that's the law of the universe, in the sense as soon as we have those thoughts and we start to look, we look online or in bookstores, things start to come to us, people start to come to us that will lead us in the right direction, or at least help us make the next step. And that's exactly what happened to me. It's exactly what happened to every one of you in our own unique ways. And that's why we're here today, that we started to take those steps. And I guess it's been almost 14 years for me. I remember I was 22 years old and I had no clue of even what I wanted to do in a material aspect of life. I dropped out of college to play in a band, and I lived in like 6 different houses in 1 year, and I was really zonked out. I didn't know what I didn't have a vision, and I was looking for the truth at some point through all that, and I came upon Prabhupada's books and the devotees, and I had nothing holding me back from just just taking it up full time. And so at first I was resistant, but then I was just like, well, I can just try it out for a summer and see how it goes. So I lived in New Vrindavan for a summer in West Virginia in the mountains, and it was a beautiful experience. And it was a hard experience, to tell you the truth. It wasn't just like I go up there and I just like am meditating and everything's good. I went through a lot internally and worked through a lot of anarthas to get to the point where I wanted to take this more seriously. And then I spent the next 8 years distributing books as a brahmachari monk. And my whole point, though, there's talking about all this, is that we've been given this very simple method of purification through reading this literature, through chanting Hare Krishna, by associating with those who practice Krishna consciousness. We are purified, and it's leading us back to Godhead. It's leading us to Godhead in this life. We can be fully Krishna conscious right now, if that's what we want. And we can go back to Godhead right now, if that's what we want. Whether it's just consciously or it's when we pass from this body, if that's what we want and we strive for it. That's the beauty of this world. Pretty much, we're in the middle of the universe, which is the place of work, this earth, Pur Loka, where actually even the demigods want to go, because it's a place where you can manifest your destiny, in a sense, in an easier way than other planets even. So the heavenly planets are a place where we have lots of enjoyment and knowledge and prosperity, but because of that, it's distracting us from the purpose of life. It's distracting us from returning back to Godhead. And in the hellish planets, it's hard to practice spiritual life because we're in a hellish condition. And we've gone up to these higher planets or down to these lower planets because of work we've done in this realm that we're in this plane, which is where people perform karma and build their karma. So that's why it's very special to be in this world, even from a material point of view, because we can choose our destiny, in our sense. And there's so many books about this, right? But the core of that and actually the greatest destiny that we could create for ourselves, and or well, I guess it's funny, don't really create destiny, but because they kind of go hand in hand, free will and destiny. We have the free will to create the life we want to, and we can become devotees of the Lord, which is the greatest thing that you can, the life that you can create for yourself. And that's actually the essence of who we are. So this is what the process that we've been given allows us to do, that in a very simple way. And you can make advancement very quickly, even faster than material processes. It'll take a lifetime of practice, but you can actually make a lot of advancement in Krishna consciousness in a very short amount of time, just by very basic practices of Krishna consciousness. And the main one being chanting. It's so simple, actually. I recently got back from Mexico. I was just on a little vacation, and I was on the beach chanting, and I was kind of, a lot of the point of this trip was to because I've been so busy lately with business and whatnot, was to chant and eat healthy and get a lot of exercise and be out in the sun. So every morning we're getting up and chanting, and I had a lot of realizations about sadhana and the Krishna consciousness and how important it is, and our life pulls us in different directions, but ultimately this is what we come back to. And just being able to sit and chant on the beach and appreciate Krishna's creation and see Krishna and everything. It brought me back to a lot of the I think it's interesting because when you first start chanting, you get a lot of mercy, and that's what brings you forward in Krishna consciousness. And so when I was chanting there, I felt a lot of these feelings, just in retrospect in life, and remembering what it feels like to chant the mantra in with a beginner's mind, in the sense where it's new and fresh at every moment. And I feel like that's where we make a lot of advancement, is when we can chant the holy names of Krishna like we've never chanted them before. And what I mean by that is we get so caught up in daily routine that the material mindset is that it becomes so redundant that we I guess it's like familiarity breeds contempt, right? It's like a piece of furniture in the room that you can put a like, say you buy a table and it's like so nice, and at first it's like, oh yeah, but then after a while you just, the table's there, okay, yeah. So we're conditioned to think like that, like once something's new is very exciting and whatnot, and then after a while it's like, okay, like it's like when you get a phone, it's at first just like, oh, we got a new phone, and that was cool, and then like after like 2 or 3 days, it seems like it seems the same as your last phone. You know what I mean? So the mantra shouldn't be like that. We when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, um actually, if we really tune in, it should be fresh at every moment and exciting at every moment. And I can say that I've gotten little glimpses of this, but not quite there at all. But that's where I'd like to be, is where it's so exciting to chant the mantra, and that the taste is ever increasing. And that's actually, the Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. This is what Lord Chaitanya was talking about in his Shikshastika, that it's ever expanding and increasing at every moment. And so that's actually what we're supposed to be experiencing. And well, I was reflecting upon that, and just, yeah, realizing that, I consider a day to be a great day when I have chanted nice rounds, and it's not like making thousands of dollars, or gaining a new client, or any of these things that we also try to do throughout our day. But it's actually, if all those things could not happen, and I'd be completely happy just chanting Hare Krishna. It's that simple. And actually that's what it's going to be. That's actually the most important thing, because that's basically what we want to do throughout life, and on our deathbed, or whatever, or however that happens, that we're able to chant Hare Krishna and appreciate the holy name, and to be absorbed. So yeah, the chanting Hare Krishna is very deep, and it's very simple, but humans are very complicated, and and I think that's the one thing that doesn't need to be complicated, is chanting Hare Krishna. And then when we hear these pastimes, we can visualize them in our hearts, and we can appreciate this scene here, we can see it in our heart where Krishna's listening to Rukmini, and even though Krishna would, in a sense, really enjoy slicing Rukmini up, being the punk he is, Rukmini is sweeter and has his heart, so he's willing to listen to Rukmini, and only we'll hear it a little bit later, only humiliate Rukmini instead. So I'll stop there and leave it open for your comments or questions. Thank you all for having me and for allowing me to purify my consciousness by speaking about this pastime and things related to this pastime.
Thank you for purifying our consciousness, Brajananda Prabhu. Thank you very much. Damodar Priya has her hand up.
Yes, thank you so much, Brajananda Das Prabhu. When you were sharing about how chanting the Maha Mantra can purify so quickly, it reminded me, I'm rereading a Diary of a Traveling Preacher by Indrayumna Swami, the volume 1 and 2. And in it, he shares, they were doing the Polish music festival. And he was sharing how, they were having the festival and they were having a festival, and then there was like this young teenager outside of, where they were having the festival with her friends, and they were mocking the devotees. Like you could tell that she was like making fun of them, and they were just like laughing at them and everything. And then he noticed that after a while she had come back without her friends, and she was just kind of like looking outside, kind of like not mocking anymore, but just kind of interested. And then he like invited her to come in, and she was like a little bit shy, and then he like, kept encouraging her. And then after a couple of days, he hadn't seen her, and then he actually noticed her in the crowd, wearing a sari, singing and dancing and like just enjoying herself. And this was like in the matter of like 3 days. And to him, he was just like, just blown away by the power of the holy names, and also the association of the devotees, that someone so quickly could go from someone that was mocking the devotees to them being in the midst of it all, like changing just their demeanor. Like, and again, like you said, it's about changing the heart, right? So it's not just about the fact that she was wearing a sari, that she changed her outside clothing. It was that it changed her heart, and that, it just was transformative in that way. So it made me think of that story, and I just wanted to share it because I thought it was so inspiring. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think it's very interesting, and the fact that like we think we have to make devotees. We don't make any devotees. We point them, say here, like just like Maharaj did. He's like, here. This is it right here. Like you can come. And she was just taken away by the chanting and the culture itself. So I think, we can be there as mentors and guides for people, but really it's ultimately people's desire and the heart melting. I think that's the huge thing, is the heart melts when they see they hear the chanting and see the chanting of the holy name. It's just the heart melts, and I've seen it here in Florida, like students become devotees, and I'm like, there's not like one person that was like, come on, you're gonna become a devotee. It's just like, oh, this is it. Oh yeah, I want to come, and they're gonna come if they want to come, and we just go, hey, here. I just think it's cool. It's very simple and it's very attractive. And I think it's important to make it accessible, obviously. Like, my style is very like, hey, let's go have lunch, like with my friends and colleagues. Let's say, hey, let's go to have Krishna lunch, or whatever. And I might invite them to something, and they're gonna, if they like it, they're gonna keep asking me questions, and that's gonna be the best thing. I think that leading by example and just being there for people and showing them, hey, look at this. As simple as that. And just being there. I think that's really important. Be a friend. I think actually that's the biggest thing. Be a friend. And what does a friend do? A friend helps you become who you are. They encourage you to be who you are. And it's as simple as that. We in Krishna consciousness teaches us that we're Jiva Swarupahoya Krishna Nichadas, that we're part and parcel of Krishna, one and different simultaneously. So simple. I see Bhima Prabhu on the farm working hard, but he's got his hand up.
Haribol Prabhu, sweet class, sweet. You mentioned something at the beginning of the class about this is the place for work. Amazing that you should have mentioned that. Yeah, because we all have to be engaged, and we often mock the one is engaged in work in some way, directly or indirectly, in the direction of Krishna consciousness.
It's breaking up, Bhima Prabhu. Losing
Okay. How about now? Any better?
We hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. We often mock the Hindu conception or the maxim that they use, work is worship. And but we can find that when we chant our rounds in the morning, which is the paramount, the priority, the first thing that
Get out of the woods.
All right, or give us the acid. Am I still in the woods?
Yeah, in the deep, deep woods.
Am I breaking up still?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're going in and out.
Okay, hold on. This.
You might have to climb a tree.
Yeah, I'll go over to the bird feeder where the birds are. Sorry, birds. How about now?
We can hear you
Better?
now.
Okay, all right. I'll stand perfectly still. Work is worship. It is for devotees. It is because if we are in the association of devotees and we're working for Krishna, and that's what we pray for every day when we chant our rounds, please engage me in your service, that Krishna reveals from within. I'm one of those persons that need revelation from within because I won't listen from without. So I just wanted to say that, we all seek that happiness. We all seek happiness. And that girl that you talked about, Indujuna Maharaj, saw that she was mocking the devotees or mocking the chanting. And then the next thing you know, she's in a sari. We find that everybody in their heart, dormant, is just looking for two things: someone to love and something to do for that someone. Ultimately, that's why family bond is so strong. That's why love in this world, even though it's a mirage, it's an illusion, so to speak, that love in this world is so strong, is because those are the two things that we intrinsically, inherently, intuitively look for: someone to love and something to do for that someone, to show our love. And based on that, we can see that as a person who hires devotees to work for our project, New York Spirit Hostel, and another project is going on, Yoga Center in downtown Manhattan, led by Domi Mataji, that we hire devotees and we find that all of a sudden we have family of workers, in which there's love there amongst us, because we're all in this together for Krishna, and it's just a wonderful thing. And of course, because we have the devotees and we're one pointed in determination, as Ananda Bihari said yesterday, when we're engaged in Krishna's service, Krishna sends the facility. He opens doors, and every time he opens a door, he does it in such a way that we can see that it was him who opened the door, not that it was by our effort alone or by our so-called intelligence. but that he sent someone, another devotee, to handle the IT, or another devotee to be a host, or another devotee that knows how to cook, or somebody who knows yoga, and we see how Krishna is bringing his family together, just as he starts his family with Rukmini. And remember, Rukmini was on that chariot, of course, firing arrows, according to Prabhupada, firing arrows at the warriors that were trying to overtake them while Krishna was driving the chariot, Parthasarthi, even for Rukmini. And we see that Shishupal, the Hindu translation of that, is man of many children, or man very strong family ties. Shishupal means that. So we see that we go away from the mundane association, the mundane familiar of association, and we come into this new family, the family of devotees. And then, of course, the family of devotees needs something to do to express gratefulness for our common Father and our common Lord. So thank you very much for inspiring these feelings within me during your class, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, this world is a place of work for Krishna. Okay, Brajananda Prabhu, here's the question. How do we as practicing devotees avoid familiarity? You kind of described that already, but could you elaborate a little more? Because sometimes when we first join, we revere our bead bag. It's like a deity.
Yeah.
For the years, it gets beat up, and you don't wash it often, and you leave it in places. So how do we avoid familiarity and keep the beginner's mind?
I think we always have to work on the relationship. It's just like any relationship. It's like you have to always be learning about, like in a relationship, you always want to be learning about the other person. You want to hear what they have to say. You listen to them in a sense. So I think it's important that we learn more about the Maha Mantra in the sense where that's the mood we chant. The Maha Mantra is that we want to learn more about. That's why we have books. That's why we have Leelas. I believe is that we learn more about Krishna. We discover more, and that helps us in our japa. And they kind of go hand in hand if you think about it, because it's like we chant japa, purify ourselves to understand the stories, the Leela, right? And then in turn, the Leela enhances our understanding of Krishna, that increases our appreciation for him and his devotees, and thus enhances our japa. And I think it's a mood that
The camera's on. Please, dear devotees, stand up if you can, or bow down if you want to. Jai Shri Shri Radha Muladhar Shri Guru Chandra Ki Jai. Yeah, this is like a relationship. Every time you think, you see that you're getting familiar, and then start investing in the relationship with Krishna. Brajananda Prabhu, thank you. Wonderful, wonderful elaboration. It's like, the wife. As soon as I try to get familiar with her, she puts me in trouble, which is good. Which is good reminder.
Mm. Mm.
You're related.
Yeah, actually, the secret is listening with
Yeah.
all relationships, it seems. And I think that's the mood of listening is I guess it's to seek to understand, not to be understood. So to try to understand Krishna, the discovery, the mood of discovery has to be there.
Yeah, the mood of
I think
discovery.
actually, it makes every relationship more interesting because we are even humans we're very deep, Actually, humans have many layers like an onion. So I think that's the same as with the holy name. It's very deep, many layers.
Yeah, there's so much to discover,
Mm.
much to excavate. Madan Gopal Prabhu, we see you're on this call. Would you like to share something?
We see you cannot hide.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Very wonderful point about familiarity breeding contempt. I think it's probably one of the things that can stop in its tracks our devotional progress. Especially when we become familiar with our fellow devotees. So maybe it's be nice to, we know the mad elephant offend is to offend devotees, but where does offensiveness start? It starts with familiarity first. Because when we first come into contact with devotees, all the devotees, we see them as just descended from Vaikuntha and worshipable, in our experience when we first starting out. And then later on, actually, he's kind of like me. He's all right, And after that, so in the beginning, everybody is like, I'm Das, no Das. I'm your servant of a servant. And then after some time, you just call me Das. It's okay, And after a while, you say, you should call me Prabhu. So we tend to also want to be the Prabhus at that point. And why did you not respect me? And so this whole Amani Namanadena thing, it's all integrated. Why Mahaprabhu put that in his Shikshashtakam. The familiarity breeding contempt is the root, or at least one of those initial seeds of us developing an offensive mentality. So I think this is not a trivial point, especially when it comes to seeing devotees as very special. Anybody who has taken to Krishna consciousness, regardless of their flaws, have something very, very special that they have turned to Krishna at whatever level. If we can remind ourselves of that, who else tells us to do this is Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction. He says even the worst great devotee, he gives the 3 grades of devotee. The top devotee you serve and worship, and then the middle grade devotee, you become friends with and work with them. And then the Kanishta, we don't reject them, but we offer them respects, obeisances, he says, from a distance. Because why the distance? Because you don't want to now get so close that you'll really start hating the person. So still offer respect from a distance. The worst thing that's acceptable is offering respects. That's like the lowest. So I think when we see this familiarity coming up and then it's turning into something less than pleasant, then we have to kind of follow the feet of Rupa Goswami and pray for his mercy. And Srila Prabhupada pray for his mercy, that let me at least learn to offer them respect from a distance. So these teachings are all there, but it's nice that you put it in regular terms that we can understand. Thank you. Very much appreciated, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madan Gopal. Already, Adipusha, you want to be the finish? Keep it brief. It's 8:09.
Okay. Hare Krishna, accept obeisances. Oh, glory to Prabhupada. We are praying to Prabhupada what to say. The verse talks about Rukmi, Krishna showing mercy to Rukmi even though Rukmi was acting as his enemy. And we know Yudhishthira is called Ajatashatru, that no one is his enemy. So even if someone treats us as an enemy, we remain their well-wisher. And it says underneath everything, everybody loves everybody. So we might want to answer that question, as Srila Prabhupada explains to us. How do you avoid familiarity? How do you remain the well-wisher of everyone? How do we, go into that quality of consciousness? And, oh, phone died. Yeah, scripture says, by engaging in devotional service with full faith in Guru and Krishna, all the good qualities develop. So if we're fully absorbed in devotional service, we may think, I have to develop this, and I have to neglect that, and I have to concentrate on removing this anartha. But it says that if we're fully absorbed in devotional service, all these things will happen as a byproduct. Knowledge and detachment will come, just by engaging in devotional service. So, yeah, it's really nice to see that Krishna was the well-wisher, even of somebody who was attacking him viciously, right? And we can be like that too, because we're to be beneficial to everyone, and that's what Krishna's using us and training us to be. Anyway, we'll go to Prabhupada, talking too long.
Susan has her hand up. Susan, unmute yourself. Unmute. We can hear you.
Still can't hear you.
There it is. Hello? I just wanted to say to Adi Prusha, to make that guy on the right of you, tell him I said hello. That's my old traveling partner in India. Das, it's me, Susan Varaldi. Hi. So I wanted to say, keep him working. Bye.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see you too, Susan.
Yeah, hear yourself.
Oh yeah, I'll give you a call.
Okay, good.
Hare Krishna.
Take care.
Das. See, his name is Das. The beginning mentality.
Oh, I know him, Das, yeah.
All right. Okay, Bhima Prabhu, one line, okay?
Oh, take the phone. Take the phone, I'm driving.
Oh yeah.
Das is the friend that you never thought you had. He's just like Das. The one thing about Das is that every time I visit from afar, it's always like being at home again with my brother, and we joke with each other, and I find that to be true. I'm way up here on the farm. I get the direct association with devotees once a week, but I tell you, it's like a meal. It's like a feast of friends, and it fulfills me. And then by the end of the week, I'm at the fag end of my exhaustion. I'm 63. I'm out on the farm. I'm all day long from 4 a.m. in the morning until nighttime, putting the animals to bed, and myself included in those animals going to bed. But then I go and drive down and I do morning program with Adi Parush playing his guitar and Ananda Bihari, with the big smile and his fastly graying hair, and Das singing along, serving north, south, east, and west all at once. Domi, everybody, it's just so enlivening to know that we have this family, and it's also a sort of a reminder of the family that's waiting for us in Goloka Vrindavan, that all day long, all you're doing is smiling and laughing and joking and wondering what we all can do to please Krishna. Thank you very much for this class, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone who spoke, everyone who gave their attention to Bhagavatam this morning. Thank you. Thank you for being our family. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Om Tat Sat, Brajananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, everyone in this call Ki Jai. Das, you should be the greeter in the spiritual